Testing. We're live.
Oh, okay. So I thought you said red light, Joseph. In any case, this is the Tuesday, October 18th meeting of the Daly City Library Board of Trustees. Call the meeting to order. Everyone please rise for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, maybe we have a roll call.
Trustee Das Magua.
I am present.
Trustee Shubanka.
I'm present too.
Vice President and Acting Chair of the meeting, Lex.
Here. Thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
You first.
I motion to second the agenda. Or a second. Is that right?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting Tuesday, September 20th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the 20th.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're now looking forward to the director's report.
Good evening. The report we're giving this evening is a statistical overview for the last fiscal year. And as I was cautioning Trustee Shubanka, just keep in mind that the cuts to our hours actually were implemented in September of this fiscal year. So this is a snapshot from last fiscal year, starting July 1, 2015 through June 30th, July 1 to June 30th, 2016.
I still have hope.
Always. The library staff recently submitted our annual public library usage statistics to the California State Library, something we do every day. Every year. The state library compiles statistics for all of the public libraries in the state and make those available online, and we contribute. So since I was reporting to the state library, I thought I would also report back to you with the same information. It's probably familiar. This report was given also for last fiscal year. And you can see a comparison of last fiscal year to the current fiscal year for library visits. And library visits are a little up, a little down. This number is generated by the gate count. The security gates that are located at all 4 libraries are connected to the network and keep a count of people entering and leaving. Unfortunately, this fiscal year we've had some technical difficulties with them, but we're just averaging out, and we're confident that we have a decent count that reflects the number of people coming in and out of the library. And you can see, like most things, there's just similar proportions for Ceremony, Westlake, John Daly, and Bayshore, although Westlake is definitely busier in terms of visits than it is in circulation and other usage statistics.
Shayla, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that last bit about Westlake. Could you say that again?
Well, you'll see some of the other slides where you can see the general, gives you a visual of the proportions for Ceremony, Westlake, John Daly, and Bayshore.
Right.
And Westlake's visits, I think, are proportionally very high. It's a very busy library, and you can see that reflected here. A lot of people coming in each day.
Even though it's down from last year?
It is a little down from last year, yeah.
Okay.
New patrons by home library. This unfortunately was down, although not by a huge amount. It does fluctuate. We keep statistics of all of the library cards that we issue. We do issue library cards for other libraries in PLS. This is just the ones where Daly City was the home library, and you can see how many were issued at each location, 4,156. I think this is one of my favorite tasks. I love giving a new library card to somebody. Circulation of materials, this is always the standard measure, and it did go down in the last fiscal year. It's holding steadier than it has been. It has had a downward trajectory for some time, and it's not down by too much, so we're feeling okay about that. You can also note at the bottom that we're at 50% of all checkouts and renewals being conducted in self-service, but that still leaves all of those items do get checked in by hand by staff and handled by staff, and about half of them get checked out by staff. And while unfortunately it is a little bit down, it's actually a pretty big number of items that circulate around Daly City to and from the library. So ebook usage, would like to think of it as maybe physical books are going down and ebook usage is going up. It's probably not gonna cancel each other out, but ebook usage is definitely up. And this was good news to us, and it prompted, I asked one of our staff in the future to come and maybe give an overview to you guys of all of the ebook offerings that we do have, because we do have an assortment.
Yeah.
So very happy to see that go up. I think that hopefully that trend will continue. Online subscription resources, these are the online things that are non-ebooks, things like the article databases, the online encyclopedias, and it did go up last fiscal year. This one almost certainly will decrease in the current year due to the fact that a number of these were discontinued. We will still and continue to offer a number of online resources, though. We do still have the Gale databases and other things that are offered through consortium subscription. Public computer use. This was down, which is, they do anecdotally seem quite busy. I will tell you, I do meet with librarians from other libraries in the system, and all of them have seen a marked decrease in the demand for their public computers. I'd like to think it's because people have their own access at home, so that's a positive thing. We do still continue to have quite a bit of demand for them at our libraries, but you'll see it did definitely decrease. There's also the possibility that some technical changes that we made, our timing software allows people to extend in a different way than our previous timing software had, and so they're getting a longer session rather than having to log out and back in, making two sessions. So that does contribute as well. Wireless is up. It is very up.
Sure.
And you'll know from this one another kind of anomaly with the proportions. Westlakes is very low. We actually triple checked that one because we thought that was very strange. All I can do is speculate. There's no way for me to backtrace, the way that it counts from the node, but we did check what the numbers that were put out by PLS. And this is what they had, and we're thinking possibly it's because you can access the shopping centers wireless, and possibly people are defaulting to that if they spend a lot of time in the area, and that's the first choice on their device, possibly. I will just anecdotally, I will say, if you walk into the Westlake Library, there will always be at least a handful of people using it. It is still used quite a bit. Hopefully this one will hold fairly steady. The wireless service is available even when the libraries are closed. It doesn't spread too far outside, but you will see people, right in front of the library using it, particularly at the John Daly Library, which lost 2 open days. It is available in the second floor of the community center, so people still do have access to that service even when the library is not open.
Good.
Public programs, the staff have worked so hard to really bring up the number of programs, the participation. We've been trying different things and figuring out what works, and so you can see that both the number and attendance was up, and the only one that was down was the program count at Westlake, and I think because I don't know where we would squeeze in another program there. I think they're pretty topped out, so yeah, definitely credit has to go to the staff. They've worked really hard on.
This was a real encouraging report, I thought. Yeah, to see the level.
And that was the end of our slideshow. So are there any questions about that?
No, but I want to say again, I was encouraged by that, especially just the little bitty Bayshore increase was just real good to see, so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, there's less, access as a result of the reduced hours. But at Bayshore particularly, it's not it's only an hour a week, but it's shifted the times that it is available. And hopefully people will find those times work for them. And I know the staff over there are working very hard to reach the community and bring them in. Because we
Yeah.
now, luckily we have Jessica over there and her staff. And it's hopefully positive things going on. I know
Oh,
she's...
yeah. She's very
She's
positive.
introducing a lot of new things over there.
Yeah, good.
I'm curious about the computers that we have in our libraries. First of all, are they all the same, or are they different types and different ages, or?
They were all purchased at the same time, roughly 3.5 years ago. So they're all
Close to
the same
yeah.
vintage and
And relatively current,
relatively.
right?
Better than the 11-year-old computers they replaced.
Right.
Whoa.
Good.
So we do have some special dedicated computers for searching the catalog, things like that, and those are not included in the statistics that I provided.
The only other thing I wanted to comment on is the ebook use table, since it appears that, ebook use is more than doubled, unless you look at the numbers, and then you realize that
Yeah,
last year it was 34,000, and this year it's about 40,000. So I was, in all of the other tables, I noticed you start from zero. I was just thinking that that would be a good thing to do throughout, because otherwise, if you just looked at this and didn't think about it, you say, whoa,
I
what a
will,
jump.
I will speak with Excel about that.
Okay, okay, thanks. Any other comments or questions?
I could probably see the decrease in public computer use. Maybe it's just because of the wireless internet. People have their own smartphones.
yeah, and their own hotspots that they
Yeah.
carry with them, yeah.
And we've introduced wireless printing, so we are definitely trying to provide services to those people who do have their own devices, all sorts.
And as Chayla alluded to, at the War Memorial Community Center, the wireless from the John Daly Library is available.
Yeah.
And we see, it when the library's closed, there are a lot of people hanging out in the lobby with their laptops, using the Wi-Fi, even when the library's closed.
It's free.
Well, it's a good resource.
Absolutely.
Trustees report. Any items?
I don't have anything to report.
The only thing I have to report comes from DCPLA, which is on the agenda in a moment, so I'll hold. Okay, moving on. Announcements and communications. The report from the Daly City Public Library Associates meeting, which was held earlier today from 11 to 12:30 at the Saramani Library Community Room. There were a number of things that were discussed. Review of events, recent events, the Cara Black Author Talk, which was September 24th at the Westlake branch, was successful in the sense that the people who were there had an outstanding opportunity to interact with the author, because the number of people who were there was a little low, and in that sense disappointing. But I thought I was there, and it was an excellent presentation. And again, thanks to the libraries for supporting that. Also, the Philam Festival was mentioned. DCPLA was there. They had a table. They were recruiting new members. They were there for about 6 hours, and 3 new members were signed up. And the Cointo Lost Things event on October 15th was commented on. One of our members was there. They said about 20 people were in attendance. The weather, which was kind of testy over the weekend, probably affected, people's
Put
wanting
it
to get
mildly.
out and go to that. Membership was reported. We have 43 new members, or DCPLA has 43 new members this year. They've set a goal of 50, and so we've still got some time between now and the end of the year to make that goal.
Are all the trustees members?
Well, I was going to mention that. 3 of the 5 members of the Board of Trustees are members. That was noted and appreciated. And, I would encourage every member to become a supporter of the Public Library Associates. The fee is only $20 annually, and it shows a commitment to the community, and it's nice to say that everybody on the board is supporting that effort. Also, some city council candidates, people running for city council seats, have joined DCPLA. So 3 out of the 5 candidates for city council are members. 2 new members and 1 continuing. The executive director's report touched on a couple of different items. One was a presentation to the San Francisco International Airport Rotary Club, which was attended by Adrian and Susan. Adrian made an outstanding presentation talking about community and county literacy needs and the particular goals and needs of DCPLA. That was followed up by a request for support, which is being considered by the Rotary Club, and hopefully a decision will be made soon. There was one concern expressed, and that is that when clubs are asked to support organizations like DCPLA, when the cities are reducing their budgets, they're concerned that this will encourage that trend or make it seem like the cuts from the city are not as harmful because excess or outside money can come in. But, they're going to try and find ways to present reasons why that's not necessarily true, and even if it is something that one believes, the libraries are valuable enough to support regardless. A $10,000 grant for materials is going to be made to the city on, is that all right to mention? At the December 12th meeting of the City Council. And
Calendar.
so that should be a nice event. Holiday cards are going to be sent to members expressing appreciation for their support throughout the year. Joseph and Chayla were at the meeting, and they made a report on a number of different items, including some tables have been received and have been assembled as part of a grant, a previous grant from DCPLA. Do you want me to skip over or mention the other things that you commented on? Okay, well, Chayla mentioned that there's going to be a winter reading program that's under development for adults and children. That the Parole Filipino Christmas star making workshop was outstanding, very well attended at Saramati. And Joseph mentioned a very interesting thing to me, that as a resident of Berkeley, part of his tax bill is a specific tax to support Berkeley libraries. And, I don't know that our city council will look at that in the future, but, I thought that was really interesting and shows a true community commitment to supporting their libraries.
That is a good one.
The board of DCPLA is going to have a planning retreat in late November. And I guess the last item was that they mentioned they were co-sponsoring Light Up Our World, the Daly City Arts and Cultural Commission activity that's taking place on Saturday, November 19th from 5 to 9:30 p.m. And that's going to be here, is that correct? In City Hall.
Saturday.
So that concludes the DCPLA report. Are there any questions or?
I just have a quick question. Does DCPLA have an option online to become members?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I received the paper one, but me being a bad student, I misplaced it.
I've got one here.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll take
I'm
it.
always carrying them. Okay, good man.
DCPLA.org.
Envelope.
My dog ate my homework.
That's an absolutely acceptable excuse as long as we provide another copy.
We also take,
There you go.
I'm on the DCPLA.
Okay.
We take PayPal
Oh,
monthly installments if anybody was, if any of the listening audience out there wants to contribute monthly. That's a good way to do it.
Okay, moving on. Agenda building for next meeting. There's an item on from the staff.
Yes, we hope to bring to the trustees at our next meeting a abbreviated, handy-dandy, you've already adopted a behavior policy, but we want to give the staff a tool to enforce that in the libraries. Going back to last spring, especially at the Westlake Library, it's getting a little bit rambunctious, and I see Trustee Shubunka nodding their head. I've talked to two different Daly City residents that attended OLM 30 years ago and 40 years ago, and said, well, here's another one, said, oh, surprise, surprise, that's just been sort of a magnet in the confluence of the Ben Franklin kids meeting the OLM kids at Ground Zero there. It's led to some pretty severe behavioral issues, especially dating back to spring. The police got involved in a couple of instances.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, we had a great summer,
Yeah.
and then school came back into session in late August, September, and it started up where it was. So been working with the police and the staff so that they're better prepared to nip some of these issues in the bud before they escalate. So talk a little bit about that at our next meeting.
When was talking out loud accepted in the libraries? I just remember growing up and it was always shh, shh. And now when you walk in, it's like a regular conversation hall, and I don't know how anybody gets their homework done. And I'm not, it's nothing reflected on you. It's just, when did that start? When?
Yeah, and I don't think it's unique to Daly City. I think that's just the new reality in libraries.
I don't know. When I lived in Marin, I've only been back here 4 years in Marin. 4 years ago, our libraries weren't.
After
You could
school?
have a quiet conversation, but no, there weren't. They didn't allow that. Even then, the parents were with the kids, and I don't know.
Do you think
I'm
that
just curious, yeah.
any kind of signage, like table tent, please keep your voices low, or something like that, might?
That's an
reacquaint people?
that's an invitation these
Think
days.
so?
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's on our agenda building for next time, and we can have a more in-depth
Sounds good.
discussion and
Oh,
solicit your input.
I didn't see the for next meeting.
Okay.
Signs.
Seeing no members of the public, there will not be any public comment. Any other items?
Two quick announcements.
Yes,
If
please.
you're looking forward to the weekend, this coming Friday, October 21st, we're having a family movie night at Westlake Park, and we encouraged, the forecast looks like it is going to be outstanding for an outdoor screening of the Bette Midler movie Hocus Pocus. And there'll be some Halloween trick-or-treating, some cars that are going to be decorated. And then the following day, Saturday, October 22nd, is Make a Difference Day. I believe this is our 18th year participating in National Make a Difference Day. And some of the activities that Dr. Alexa I know is familiar with, we'll have an e-waste collection here in the parking lot at City Hall, along with some shredding and a reuse exchange event that we're doing in conjunction with the Peninsula Partnership at 350 90th, directly across the street from City Hall. So it's getting close, but if there's somebody who happens to be listening that has some gently used items that they feel can help somebody in need, it's a great event. We've done it many, many years, and if you can imagine, it's kind of like a thrift store that gets set up, but everything is free. So
Wow.
it's a good opportunity if you have unused items that are in good shape that can be put to use by another family or household. It's a good opportunity.
So that's this Saturday.
This Saturday, October
That's right,
22nd.
so coming right up, the 22nd.
At what time?
That's what I was going to
Okay.
ask too. Go ahead, I know.
I didn't bring it with me, but I believe it's 9 to 1 is typically it. And I believe the other part of that, I think there's flu shots, courtesy of Walgreens here, and I think the Lions usually help out with that. There was, oh man, I should have brought the flyer. There's one other thing happening. I said shredding.
Mhm.
Well, shredding e-waste, there
Flu
are a
shots,
number of
reuse.
cleanup projects and also a planting project.
Yes, so
someplace.
if you are listening and visit dalycity.org, I believe there's a link from the homepage that describes all the activities and events for that day.
Yeah, and it's also on Nextdoor, if you're on the Nextdoor email, community email. And it's in the Daily Wire. And
Yeah, that was one question that came up this morning. The fog cutter is gone.
Right.
Is the Daily Wire its replacement, or is there anything else that comes out periodically, occasionally in print?
I think it's just the Daily Wire.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Well, there was some uncertainty about whether that was the case or not, but,
Well, that's a good, no, they were doing the Daily News.
yeah, they
how-
changed the name to
You know
some-
what? How about if I research that and report that back out at the next meeting, or I can email you the
Okay.
answer. I'm not sure if that made the budget cut or not.
Well,
I think you hit, it's document shredding, e-waste drop-off, reuse exchange, were the three main things going on at the.
Flu shot and,
and
thought there was one other thing.
Maybe that's the Make a Difference Day. Maybe there's something else. Let me backtrack here and see. I don't know. I'll keep looking. It's in the Daily Wire. Is where I found the Make a Difference Day. So.
okay. Without any public comment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
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 No opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Red light off.